So it's recording now. And just let the whole thing run
Yeah.
until we go through, until we get to the end. Okay. So what I'm going to do then is obviously go through the footage that we've got, and then break it down into certain elements and certain faults and things that I've highlighted. When we look at stroke correction, there's a kind of like a stroke correction hierarchy that I kind of work through, i.e. an order that we look at things in.
Yeah.
And that's generally because you may think that you've got for example, you may think that you've got a fault with your legs sinking, and someone might go away and try and fix the problem with the legs, when in actual fact that may be caused by something further up the chain. So there's a natural sequence of events that we always follow. Okay. What do you think is your kind of main issue, would you say?
Left arm, I would say, particularly because of these fingers here. They're pretty dysfunctional.
Okay.
So that, if anything, tires that part of my hand cramps.
Okay, yeah.
Neck rotation to left, and then leg power. I feel pretty strong on my right, but I also think my position in the water is quite poor.
Okay.
I think I'm quite like that.
What about your breathing?
Breathing's poor. I breath hold far too much, but that's partly because of my ability to bilateral.
Yeah.
I find I get very fatigued if I do the right all the time, but I haven't got enough regular mobility to get that left rotation.
Yeah.
To get the breathing, and then I know if I get a bad breath there, the following strokes are falling apart a bit.
Yeah. Okay.
So like it's breaking down from there, then I've got to pick up, and then I overreach here, then it all sort of follows on from that.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, the breathing is certainly one thing that we need to look at in quite some detail. Breathing, and then obviously your head and body position from there. Obviously, I got you to swim beforehand, and you swam 100 meters in 1 minute 30, which is 6 minutes for 400 pace, which is pretty quick. So you've obviously got some ability to get some speed there. What your endurance would be like if we kind of try to stretch that out kind of remains to be seen a little bit. But if you can go out and do 100 meters at 1:30, and then if we were to work on endurance, then you've already got a good base of speed to start from. Then I looked at your stroke rate. I took a couple of samples of your stroke rate, and it kind of varied between 56 to 58 thereabouts, which is a little tiny bit on the low side, but not excessively low. So that's something else we can look at. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll start to play it through. The first thing I'll do is have a look at your head positioning and breathing. Okay. Okay, it's because you have a little chest at the beginning there. You see that all right?
Yeah, it's fine.
And are you conscious where you're looking?
Yeah, I'm always looking slightly ahead.
Okay.
Not fully up to the end of the wall, probably about 5-6 feet.
You're looking quite a long way ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not looking down. On this one, I'm following the black line, so basically keeping 4 or 5 ahead.
Okay. And in terms of your head position when you breathe, do you give that any thought, or is it just kind of naturally occurring?
I think I read somewhere about trying to get your head backwards so you're not swallowing the water. Okay. So I'm thinking about trying to do that, but other than that, not much really.
Okay. And you're only breathing on one side?
Yeah.
Do you ever breathe on the other side at all?
I do. I've been trying to the last 3 swim sessions I've done, just because I thought I'm starting from base again. Yeah. So it's probably a good time to try and instigate.
In fact, you've got a breath on the inside there, haven't you?
I don't feel like I could do that. I've probably got 3 or 4 good breaths on the left from the whole thing. Yeah. The rest felt pretty poor.
Okay. All right. So the first thing I'm looking at from this side, this is obviously the normal kind of poolside view, which is what most people get to see. In actual fact, this kind of angle doesn't allow you to see very much, and this is where the value of the kind of video footage comes in. What we can see from this particular angle is what your head is doing.
Yeah.
Ideally, your head wants to be fairly low in the water and to stay as still as possible.
Okay.
And the reason for that is because if you get the correct head positioning, you end up with a bow wave across the top of your head. I'll show you some pictures of that in a minute. that bow wave creates a little trough. So a bow wave kind of has a little kind of dent after it, which you can breathe into.
Okay.
Ideally, you should have your head down at this point, so you'd only have one goggle out of the water. Okay. So if I show you, so if you see here, look, it's quite a small image there.
Yeah.
This is so you can see the bow wave forming on the side of the head. See how the head is much flatter than yours is. Yeah. One goggle in, one goggle out, and it's called Popeye because you kind of move your mouth to the side to get the breath. What happens when you lift your head up and down? When you lift your head up and down, because you lift it quite high to breathe, that forces the legs down.
Yeah.
The higher your head,
that makes
the lower the legs. The lower the legs go down. Yeah. So your head wants to be down in that position. You can see this bow wave appears as soon as you put your head down, and that's kind of where you should be all the time in this position here. Moving the head up and then down, up and down, it destroys the bow wave, and you can kind of keep it there. If I show you some footage.
So would that be affected partly by where I'm trying to look as well in the pool?
Yep. Okay. Yeah, we'll have a look at that in a minute. Yeah, absolutely. You may have seen this clip around actually. This is a guy called Jono van Hazel, who's an Olympic athlete. And if you look at his head, it stays perfectly still throughout the entire stroke. And you almost can't see his head move. He's actually turned to breathe at that point. Always in the same position, doesn't lift it up, doesn't lift it down. It's kind of, he's always rotating around the central point. And there we go, there's the Popeye breathing. Look, bow wave, bit of a dent there, breathing into that. Okay, so we'll do some work on head positioning.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll do some exercises and have a kind of experiment with your how you feel in different head positions. And Popeye breathing really is a case of we'll work on body position, which will improve it anyway. But it's something you can just practice. Almost trying to aim for split vision while you're swimming.
Yeah.
So you've got one eye above the water, one eye below. And some of this stuff is, as long as you're conscious of it, it's something that you can start to try and work on. All right. It's quite a big issue to start with. So lifting the head to breathe. Looking forwards, as you said, we'll have a closer look under the water in a minute. Looking forwards, again, lifts the head, which again has a tendency to drop the legs down. When we're breaking down a stroke, there's a couple of things there's two kind of main elements, if you like. There's things which create drag and things which create propulsion. Okay. And all the things we kind of start off with really are the drag creating things, and we'll move on to the propulsion things a little bit further down the chain. You've got some decent propulsion because you can swim 130 for 100. If we can reduce the drag down, it's going to make quite a big difference. Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
Okay, so
I mean that explains as well because like here through traps, back of the neck always gets really tight.
Yeah.
I think losing the belly would help as well, wouldn't it?
Everyone hates this view. Everyone hates this view. Women are normally quite funny when we get onto this bit. But in fact, saying that, the blokes are just as bad, to be fair.
Definitely.
Okay, so what I'm looking at here then is the breathing. Okay. The number one thing, and this is the hierarchy we kind of look at. So we start down here, and you fix these things before you move up. Okay. Breathing, exhalation, relaxation. Number one thing. Okay. Because everything leads on from there. If you can get relaxed and get rhythmical with your breathing, then everything else seems easier. Okay. Holding your breath has a direct impact on the rest of your body position. Creates a build-up of CO2, makes you feel more anxious, makes you rush to get your breath. And holding oxygen in your air in your lungs causes the back end to drop as well, which creates drag again. Okay.
Seen me swim before, haven't you?
to be honest. This is standard.
Yeah.
You know, most people are the same. And some of the drills I'll get you to do are pretty basic, and almost you kind of slightly embarrassed to do the sink down drill, for example, in a public pool. But it is good practice, and it kind of demonstrates the point. Right, what I'm trying to find is where you breathe, and then we can have a look at what's going on with your breath. There we go, look, that's what I was waiting for. Okay, so, breathe. We've got an issue with the lead arm collapsing here, which we'll look at in a minute. That is causing you to have to lift your head higher.
Okay.
That lead arm should stay high and provide the support for you to get your breath. Because it sinks, you're having to go like that and lift your head up. Okay. But we'll have a look at that in a bit more detail. So, turn your head to breathe. As soon as you turn your head to breathe, look what happens to the body position. Drops down here.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll move on to your hands and things in a minute. So you've got that breath, you've got that air in your lungs at the moment. You're looking forwards. So you're kind of looking in this direction here. Okay. Again, which has a direct impact on the position of the body. Okay. So if we draw a line up here, you know, your body is down at kind of 12 degrees, 13 degrees or something. Ideally, we want all this to be the body, the backside to be on the surface of the water up here. Almost as though you can swimming down a tube. That's the perfect thing. Swimming down a central tube in the middle of the pool there. So you're still holding your breath. In fact, what I'll do.
So one thing I notice when I swim, especially if I'm racing, is really bad hamstring and calf cramp.
Okay.
Are those sort of things that are common with poor body position as well?
Yeah. I mean, cramps and things. I was speaking to a chap earlier today. It's the same sort of thing. It's normally associated with fatigue. So if you're over kicking, or if you're swimming in a pool, kicking off from a strong push off from the wall a lot. Open water, a lot of people get cramps. Because some people will just drag their legs in the wetsuit. So they're stationary for half an hour, 45 minutes. So I always tell people to kind of at least have a gentle flutter kick. Dehydration, things like that. Right, what I was going to do is... Right, I'm going to time it. Okay, so 51.56. So you're holding your breath, holding your breath, holding your breath. A little bit of air came out there. In fact, you're breathing out just before you take the breath. So you're holding all that. You're holding all that in for start to breathe there. Look, for 2 seconds. Holding all that oxygen for 2 seconds, causing this body to drop down here. You see it more clearly when you breathe on this side a bit. So you've got all that. There we go. You're thinking, I'm just about to take a breath. Breathe out. So what you should be doing is taking a breath, putting your head back into the water, and then immediately exhaling. Constant long exhalation out. And that means when you come to take the next breath, just take it back. When you come to take the next breath, your lungs are fully exhaled already, okay? And you're not having to breathe out and breathe in at the same time, which is pretty much what you're having to do. So you're having to rush it, which again makes you feel like you've got to lift your head higher. So what I'm going to show you is sink down drill. And I put the drills on here so that you've got them on your footage as well. I won't play all this because it's actually saying it's only 36 seconds. So
This sink down exercise is a great way to judge just how comfortable you feel in the water. We want to try to sink down to the bottom of the pool just by exhaling from either the mouth or the nose or the combination of the two, not using your arms and legs to push yourself down and cheating. If you feel like you're sighing in the water or deflating the lungs, you should be able to sink down quite comfortably. Many swimmers struggle with this exercise simply because they don't feel relaxed enough to let go of the air in the chest and lungs and allow themselves to sink nice and easily down to the bottom of the pool.
Okay, so what it's demonstrating is take a breath and constant exhalation, and you'll see that obviously when you're doing a sink down drill, you should end up on the bottom of the pool. People who aren't used to fully exhaling will kind of sink halfway down and will potentially get stuck at that point and have to go back up and take another breath. But it's very important that you get that full exhalation, so you improve your body position, and also you've got your lungs empty and ready to take that breath. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay.
I'm quite good at being a stone.
So. Okay, well, we'll have a look at that in a minute. Okay. Yeah, you're kind of you kind of having a go at bilateral breathing, but you said you're not massively comfortable at that. We'll do. It's a simple exercise: bubble, bubble, breathe. So it's a mantra that you go through, and you basically take a breath. And you take 2 strokes, and you breathe on the other side, and you're going through it, bubble, bubble, breathe. You imagine every time you say breathe, you're on the opposite side, and you're actually saying bubble into the water. You're actually saying it so that you're blowing air out while you're in the water as well. But I'll go through that with you. So the main thing, absolutely, head position and breathing, causing this body to drop down here. Okay. Right, the next thing to look at is your kick. Do you think much about your kick? Do you ever work on your kick or anything like that?
I give token sort of training to the kicks. I know something I need to work on.
Okay. One thing you do have is, well, particularly in that one at the moment, I'll look at the other one in a minute, it's good flexibility in the ankles. You've got nice and straight feet here, which is great. A lot of triathletes particularly have got kind of anchor feet.
Yeah.
And they're kicking straight down, causing drag. But it looks like, I mean, I don't know if you work on ankle flexibility
I do
at all.
a ton of stuff because it's some of the Z-Health stuff we do.
Yeah.
So we're starting with the ankle because your feet being fundamental to your sensory organs.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you've got a really good start there because of the flexibility. So that's really all we're going to need to do is a bit of a tune-up with the kick. Not a big fan of just swimming up and down with a kickboard because it throws your body out. It's not in a natural position for you to arch your back and sit there with a kickboard in front of you. So we'll do, what we'll do is we'll go through the torpedo drill. This is the SwimSmooth app, which I've started using because it's full of all video clips and all that kind of thing. And I'll send you a link to it.
Yeah.
You'll get the clips on here, which I'm recording now anyway. But you can, if you go into the app, I think you got to pay for it, but it's 48 hours for free. So you can go in there and have a look at a load of videos and make use of it. You'll probably see most of what you need in that time period. But it's a great app. So you can have a look at the torpedo. Okay, let's play this through then.
So we're now going to do the torpedo kicking exercise, which is a great way to measure the efficiency of your freestyle leg kick and how it's developing. On this little exercise, I'm going to push off the wall and kick as far as I can and as fast as I can on one single breath, trying to get a maximum proportion from my leg kick. I'm then going to turn around and contrast that with a nice steady lap of freestyle back into the wall, arms as well, but with a very, very gentle leg kick, just enough leg kick to provide a good body position in the water, and most importantly for my legs not to be dragging behind me. My toes are going to be pointed out behind me, turn slightly in, and I'm just going to have a gentle tap, tap, tap of the toes from behind me. Let's see how we go.
When you're doing this particular exercise, make sure you kick them as hard as you can off the wall. The idea is to contrast a hard effort off the wall in this torpedo position with a steady swim back with hardly any effort from the legs.
Now that exercise, you're trying to go as far as you can on one single breath, and as you can tell, I'm actually quite out of breath from doing that, which brings home the point that kicking very, very hard is actually quite wasteful of energy. Even the great Ian Thorpe only used to generate up to 11% of his entire propulsion from the leg kick. The rest of it came from very good catch and pull through, good body position in the water combined with great rotation. Now what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to swim back to the wall with a much steadier leg kick, just enough to keep my feet nice and high in the water, focusing on just turning the toes in and tapping gently against each other. This torpedo leg kick exercise is a fantastic way for those of you who've maybe tried doing some kicking exercises in the past with a kickboard out in front of your head but found you've gone nowhere. Unfortunately, the kickboard's lifting you too high up at the front, exacerbating low sinking legs at the back, and if you haven't got the correct form and technique, i.e. toes pointed out, nice long straight legs, you simply won't go anywhere. Next try, you try practicing some leg kick, give this little exercise a bit of a go. Okay, here we go, back with the freestyle.
Stop it there. So the idea of that really is just for you to concentrate purely on your kick. So you've got nice flexibility in your ankles, so nice strong kick, and concentrate on tapping the toes, and that obviously gets your feet in the right position, and it makes sure that you're not kind of splaying your legs too much, because you won't be able to tap your toes quite as easily. So it's a nice constant rhythm. Okay, so we'll go through that, and that's a much better drill than sitting there with a kickboard. So you push off, and then you swim back and continue to think about nice kick, tapping the toes, but a much more gentle rhythm to it.
So do I need as much knee flexion as I'm doing, or do I want it more from my hips? So one thing I've always thought is I bend my knees too much.
It's a little bit knee. It's a little bit kicking from the knee.
Yeah. Okay.
Not excessively though. Not excessively. I'll go through another drill. The standard drill really is ballerina drill, where you're kicking vertically at the end of the pool, and you should gain enough kind of lift and propulsion from the kick.
Yeah.
If you're bending from your knees, you won't get any propulsion from it really. Or not half as much as you would do if you're doing it properly. So we can go through the ballerina drill.
Yeah.
It's not too bad. It's not too bad. Okay, so what we're going to look at now is, and this is always the interesting one. This is where there's kind of nowhere to hide on this this angle. Right. I said to you about the tube before.
Yeah.
Ideally, you want to be swimming along almost like tram lines. Okay, so we want everything to be travelling in that direction. We don't want anything popping out sideways or going backwards or anything like that. Okay? So let's start from here. Okay, so here you've got hand entry. You're pushing your hand forwards. That looks great at that point. You've got a bit of a leg splitting going on here, but nothing excessive at the moment. Your recovery hand comes in. What I did notice is the way your hand enters the waters. Do you get shoulder pain at all when you're swimming? Because you're over-rotating on your shoulder.
Yeah, they burn massively.
Yeah, you're over-rotating on your shoulder. That hand should be flat. So you should be spearing the water with your fingertips.
Okay. So not there.
Yeah. So not, you're turning the whole shoulder further over to get it to do that. And then what that means is you're entering the water like that, and then you're having to come back to get the catch.
So this is what happens when you read magazines,
Right.
and you think, oh, I'm putting that into practice. There was something I read about catching in almost like an S shape.
Oh, yeah, they used to do that. They used to teach the S. No, forget that. Okay. I'm not looking at hands yet.
No.
I'll come to that in a minute. Okay, so you're entering the water, hand is entering the water, and that's good. What you are doing is you're staying nice and straight there. That hand is staying, and it's coming over a little bit, but nothing excessive. It's actually much better than I thought it was. I thought there was much more crossing over going on. You're lifting your head up quite a lot, which we've already spoken about.
Okay.
Here we go. Well, if you just breathe on that side. Where are you breathing? Can't see where you're breathing. Come on, breathe, damn you. Okay, maybe I'll play it through then. We'll get into another one. This doesn't like going backwards. Okay. All right, let's try again. I want to see what happens after you take a breath. Okay, right. So breathe in there. And here we have our lead arm collapsing down. I mentioned that bit to you before. So at that point, you don't have any support. And this is what you call front quadrant swimming. You should always have a hand in this zone here.
Okay.
Otherwise, you've got no support. The whole of your upper body sinks down. Okay, and that means that's another reason why you have to lift your head higher up to get the breath you need. So this hand, after the breath, is entering the water and is going that way. And then it's straightening out. It's now straight. That hand is going in that direction. Okay, so you've got this crossover going on. And what the crossover leads to is this scissor kicking, which again is drag. Right.
Like this, I mean, it looks like I'm taking up like that whole box of propulsion rather than that line. So yeah, so, I mean, that's how it feels in the water. I feel like I'm spinning as opposed to.
Yeah. So you should be rotating around the central point, arm entering and going and staying straight forward, which will because you're crossing over, you're going like that. It's causing an imbalance and it's causing your legs to split.
Okay.
If I show you. Let's find a footage of him. So if you watch how he enters the water here, in fact, I'll put it on the other arm. In fact, his hand is slightly twisted as well. So his hand enters the water and it stays straight. It's immediately straight, stays straight. See how he takes the breath? His hand is still there. Okay, I mentioned you always have to have a hand in this point here. So he's still got the arm there generating the propulsion, and then the recovering hand comes in. See if we can find some footage of his legs. You can't see it particularly well on here, but you can see it's not very clear. You can't. There's not the scissor kick because there's much more imbalance. It doesn't generate this difference in the scissor kick here. I thought I'd be able to show it more clearly than that.
No, I can.
But that's what's causing this. Is this arm coming over this way?
Okay.
That's causing that scissor kick there, and then this one is causing the same. That side, and that is exaggerated by over rolling. You're over rotating to take the breath because of the lead hand sinking and lifting the head higher in the water. It's causing this big scissor kick here. These are all things which we'll look at. Will be sorted out when we look at some body positioning drills, which I'll go through next. So that's the main thing in terms of what we're seeing from this is we'll look at the hand entry, so improving the hand entry. So that's going in fingertips first and staying straight. That will prevent or reduce down the scissor kicking. while we're here, we'll have a look at the hand, what's actually happening when it enters the water. And this is the front hand collapsing down here, the lead hand collapsing down. So what you're doing here is you're pushing the water straight down. So all that water is pushed down, okay? Which means you're pushing the body up. You're pushing the front end of the stroke up, okay? So this here is slightly, it's kind of slightly, almost slightly over rotating on that side, but not too much. Ideally, your body position wants to be 45 degrees, and actually it's not too bad actually. And then your arm would come over this way with your hand here, okay? So that's where you want to be. So your elbow wants to be all the way over there, okay? So and what you do is you create 120 degree elbow angle with the arm. So if I show you,
the downstroke, it should be like that. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if I see if it's, there we go. So she turns her head to breathe.
Yeah.
The lead arm is high, stays high, and the catch is engaged at that point. So she doesn't have that pushing, she never has that pushing down. She's always holding the water and then pushing back and immediately starting the propulsion. Okay? And that's where you end up with the, I need to do that really well. 100 to 120 degrees. Okay? So what we'll work on,
So I'm not trying to plough the water like that then.
yeah. So and I'll go through some exercises. It'll become clearer when I start going through some exercises with you in the pool side. Because what you're doing is when you push straight down with the hand, is you're generating force from your shoulder rather than using larger muscles in your back.
That makes sense. Right, oh, yeah.
So I'll do a demonstration with you in a minute. But if you push straight down, you are just purely using your shoulder. If you rotate more and lean further forward, have your high elbow, then you're actually pulling back using your lats, pulling back that way. Okay? Using the larger muscle groups and reducing down the impact, reducing down the stress on the shoulder by doing that. And again, what you'll also be doing is stopping this lifting at the front. That side's better, but you're still pushing down. You get a little bit of a bend there towards the back. So if I show you some drills, so the kick on the side drill, the idea of this is to get you used to staying nice and straight in alignment. And you take a breath and you stay straight. So you don't, because at the moment you're crossing over, your arm is entering and crossing over a little bit. This gets you used to staying straight and keeping that arm high, not letting it sink when you take the breath. Yeah. Let's play this one through.
The kick on your side drill is a mainstay drill of the Swim Smooth program. It's a multi-purpose drill that develops your posture in the water, your alignment, and your catch setup technique.
Kicking on your side has been used in swimming for many years, and originally used to either promote good leg kick efficiency and or promote rotation. To practice this drill well, push off in that torpedo position and immediately pull out so you're actually kicking on your side. Left arm extended forward, right arm held loosely down by your side, almost just down by your hips. Have your eyes looking down towards the bottom of the pool, blowing a long, continuous stream of bubbles. Turn your head to the side to take a breath whenever you need to, but otherwise have your attention looking down towards that black line. When you're kicking on your side, think about drawing your shoulder blades together and back to allow great alignment of your middle finger straight down the pool, pointing straight forward in front of the same shoulder. One of the most commonly overlooked issues with this particular drill is for that lead arm to be collapsing or just hung loosely in the water. The lead arm needs to have a sense of rigidity about it, fingertips below the wrist and wrist below the elbow. Otherwise, if you collapse onto your elbow and allow the hand to rise up towards the surface of the water, you'll effectively be pushing yourself backwards and sinking your legs. Notice how the palm of the hand is looking down towards the bottom of the pool, not with the palm turned out towards the side. This is commonly seen when people try this exercise for the first time. Keeping the palm of the hand looking down, with the fingertips angled slightly down towards the bottom of the pool, allows good connection with the water, a nice, stable base.
It's a really good drill. It's a very important drill because it works on so many different elements. You can practice your breathing there, you stay nice and in alignment. It makes sure that you concentrate on having a higher elbow than your wrist. Your wrist should always, your elbow should always be above your wrist. It should always be above your fingers, almost as though you're going to hold a Swiss ball. One of the things you're doing, we haven't spoken about yet, is wait for the bubbles to clear. Dropping your elbow a little tiny bit here. Yeah. It's not too bad. It's pretty level actually, but there should be a definite spear into the water and then straight into the catch, rather than like that. Because if you ever start to drop your elbow, your hand comes up and you're just creating the whole front end drops down. You're creating drag anyway. So we'll look at that, and then what we'll do is we'll move on to the 616. Which is a progression of the kicking on the side. I won't play this all through because it's just a moving on from the kicking on the side. But it's simply, I'll turn it down actually.
This is the 6.
Simply kicking on the side, and then it brings in another stroke. Okay, so 6 kicks, then a stroke, 6 kicks. And what this allows you to do is keep your alignment, and then it progresses it on. And allows you to think about spearing into the water and then staying straight and not crossing over. And then finally onto the 6. Oops, might still bring it up. 636. And again, it's obvious. It's another progression. So it's 3 strokes, and it starts to build it back up to a normal stroke.
Okay.
And you can increase that further still to 656, and then just start to swim it out and just kind of continue to concentrate on holding that body positioning. So far then, we've looked at your breathing. Look at your breathing. Look at your head position. You can do some drills on those. We'll do a little bit of kick work. I think your kick will come together quite quickly once you get your body position sorted out. Do some body positioning, so in terms of staying nice and straight in alignment in the water, leaving that lead arm high when you take the breath, not letting it sink down. And the only other thing I want to look at is do some propulsion work. Okay, so what we want to do is concentrate on spearing the hand into the water and then going straight into it. So if you spear your hand into the water, if you get it right, you'll be straight into a good catch position. Okay. So javelin drill. it's almost another progression of the kick on the side. Again, I'll fast forward this through. So I can find where he's actually doing the drill. There we go. Kicking on the side. And this one's with a freestyler paddle, which I'll show you because it's got a keel on it, so it makes sure your hand stays straight. There we go, that's what I was looking for, where he starts to take a stroke. With the freestyler paddle, it makes sure you spear the water nice. It won't let you go in sideways because of the keel. It'll make sure you spear the water and stay straight and flat with your hand. So we'll do a little bit of work on the javelin drill. And then to improve your catch, we'll do some sculling. Which just mimics having high elbow above wrist above fingers, and just that initial catch of the water. It's quite a good drill, because you won't go forwards if you don't get it right. And then finally, classic doggy paddle. Because the doggy paddle mimics that.
Okay.
You've got the catch, you then want to get that angle in your elbows. So you can sit underwater. So it forces you to get this bent elbow, get kind of program yourself to pull back through rather than push down. You won't be able to work on all this stuff in one go. You know, this I'm kind of giving you all the main elements here for you to kind of go away with and work on over time. Obviously, we can build this stuff into the program anyway, but half the battle is being aware of the things.
No, definitely.
And then also knowing which drills you need to target to try and address each of the issues.
I think the nice thing is a lot of the stuff that I thought was sort of crap about my swimming. I know that I've been going wrong. Now I feel like I've got something I can actually go and fix it with. So that's quite.
And I think that's it for now. That's it for now. I mean, there's enough there to be getting on with. But the main thing, going back to the beginning, the main thing is getting the body positioning, breathing, and the head position right. And everything else will probably improve as a result of that anyway. Okay.
Well, I mean, the starting point anyway. So
yeah. So you got any questions or anything?
No.
Okay. Should we crack on?
Yeah.
Right. Let me switch this off then.
I mean, I'm glad that I've started doing the training now, to be honest.